Hey now, what is up everybody? My name is Mike Brown, aka ReviewKingMB, and I am here to continue my ultimate collection of the Die Hard series. This is the last of the series, right? Because they didn't make any more Die Hard movies after this. I am talking about Live Free or Die Hard. This is a 2007 film that was directed by Len Wiseman. And the plot is we see John McClane, once again, played by Bruce Willis. It's been a few years. He's a little older now. You see him looking after his daughter, Lucy McClane. But then he gets called, because he's a cop, to look after and drive this hacker kid, Matt, played by Justin Long. He's supposed to take him almost into protective custody and because his life is being threatened. And just as that's happening, they get attacked. And so for the rest of the movie, McClane is trying to protect him, trying to figure out who's after him, trying to figure out what this person's bigger plans are. Once again, caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. Now, what I think of Live Free or Die Hard is this movie's fun. It is. It's fun. I like the movie. Do I love the movie? No. And in fact, I remember when I first saw this movie, I really enjoyed it. Like probably more than I did rewatching it now. Rewatching it now, I guess I wasn't as interested by the plot. Okay, let's be honest. You have John McClane, Bruce Willis, who is always great. Even in this movie, I think he has his moments of being witty and charming, just being that McClane that we like. He always just has those one-liners that make me go along with him. He feels like the character, just a little older. You have Justin Long, who plays Matt Farrell. Like I said, he's a hacker. And he's a kid who, with a whole bunch of other hackers, they sort of get tricked and convinced by this one source to help hack all of these servers and all of these units, all for this one purpose, this one goal. And he didn't know that this was all to unleash some terrorist acts against the country, and that he was somewhat working for Thomas Gabriel, played by Timothy Olyphant. Timothy Olyphant, he's this guy who used to work for the U.S. government, and he figured out that the U.S. government system is so easily hackable that anybody could do it. Anybody could come in there and cause some serious damage. But nobody believed him, I guess, and so they threw him out of the government and ruined his life and his credibility. And so he's pissed now. He's pissed, so he's gone off and created this team of hackers, and he's taking it back to the government and getting revenge. I gotta be honest, this plot, it was the first time I watched this movie and thought, wow, there's not a whole lot to this plot, is there? Really, Timothy Olyphant is just a disgruntled employee who's pissed and wants revenge. So he has these hackers hacking into the system. Like, there's so many scenes of just people on computers, and they're just doing all of this stuff that I obviously don't understand, and they're speaking mumbo jumbo, and I'm just like, okay, high-tech stuff. But the movie makes John McClane look like the dummy for not knowing what they're doing or what they're saying. I don't understand why this plot really went in this direction. I don't. The reason why I did like the movie in the first place and why I still can have fun with the movie now is the action. The action is just so crazy, so over the top in some senses. Like, for example, you have Maggie Q, who's one of the henchwomen of Timothy Olyphant. In fact, they have a relationship, kind of, sort of. They don't really delve into it. You just see them kiss once. But Maggie Q is a badass. Like, I love seeing her pop up in movies and TV shows. In fact, I don't get to see her enough, especially nowadays. But she just has a really cool scene where she goes right after McClane, trying to get to Justin Long. And her and McClane have this cool fight where she's doing all of this martial arts stuff that she's known for and good for. And she's kicking his ass. And I even like the comebacks McClane has verbally against her with this. And then they have this cool fight in the elevator, stuck in the car, and she's still fighting at him. So all of that was cool sequences. You have this crazy scene of them being chased after in a helicopter by the henchmen, and they're in a cop car, and McClane just drives off, jumps out of the car, and the car somehow springs up from the concrete like wedge, goes straight for the helicopter and blows it up. I'm like, First of all, how the hell did McClane, did he know that the car was going to perfectly drive up the thing like that? It's virtually humanly impossible for him to have timed that and figured that out and that. But that's the most realistic thing in the movie, compared to at the end of the movie where McClane is driving this semi-truck and he's on like the highway, the bridge, and these armed military jets are chasing after him because they think he's the bad guy, he's the criminal, and they're shooting at him, and he somehow maneuvers out of the truck and has some stuff fall into the jet, and it blows up, and the whole thing blows up, and he falls like 50 feet down and survives, and you're just sitting there like, how did McClane become Superman? This is insane. A part of me thinks it's dumb, and a part of me thinks Len Wiseman went too far to the other side. But another part of me gets it. You're coming after Die Hard with a Vengeance, where they really went for the action there, and I enjoyed the action there. So he just thinks bigger is better, and so in one ways it helps to make the movie fun and rewatchable, but in other ways it's like, well, if the plot wasn't so thin, maybe they shouldn't have to go so big with the action. Either way, it is what it is. I want to mention some of the other characters. You have Cliff Curtis, who plays an FBI deputy. I just rewatching it, I was like, oh, that's Cliff Curtis. You have Sung Kang, another actor, who he's in the Fast and Furious movies, Hans. It was funny, like he has such a small part here, but I just recognized him. And then, of course, Kevin Smith plays Frederick, aka Warlock. He's another hacker who he lives in his mom's basement, so your typical thing, and he's actually quite comical. The interactions he has with Bruce Willis, it's funny in retrospect, because in real life these two despise each other, especially Kevin Smith. He finds any chance to talk shit about him, but it's a cool interaction. Mary Elizabeth Winstead plays Lucy Gennaro. Okay, that's her mother's name. It takes her some to get used to calling herself a McClane, but I do like her. I buy her as McClane's daughter. The scene where she does get taken and kidnapped by the bad guys, and that's where you get a little like, okay, this is typical. How many times have we seen that? Or how many times could you see that coming? But I do like how she's never really afraid when she's kidnapped by them. In fact, there's a moment where Timothy Olyphant sits her down and he says, you be good or I'm going to have to hurt you. And she says, let's go outside and go a few rounds and let's see who hurts who. And he instantly is like, you're McClane's daughter, all right. Like, I love that. I love her toughness. I love her spiciness, and you buy it with her. I should mention Timothy Olyphant. I like him as an actor. I do. But I don't get a whole lot about him as a villain. I don't really get into the motivation. They give him motivation, but it wasn't that interesting to me. At the end of the day, it's pretty much a glorified computer hacker that McClane has to go up against. It's lame. I know it was 2007, so computer hacking was the crave at the time in Hollywood to do something with. I just never fully got into this villain or this plot. And I should also mention that luckily the DVD made an unrated cut, because when the film came out, it came out as PG-13, the first ever PG-13 Die Hard movie, and it's blasphemy. It is. Die Hard was not meant to be this big, huge blockbuster. I know the sequels it kind of did, but not to the level to where you have to strip it down and take away its edginess and take away its coolness to make it appeal for kids and be PG-13. Like, that's not what Die Hard is. And so when you watch it, you're able to watch this with the unrated version, and you get some cussing thrown back in there. You can tell some of it's like voiceovered, because like the mouths don't match the cursing that you're hearing. That's a little weird, but it's fine. It's fine because you need that. You need those cursing. You need the F. You need the moment at the end when McClane says yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker, because he doesn't say motherfucker in the theatrical cut. How do you have that line without the motherfucker at the end of it? Anyways, guys, I hope it didn't sound like I hated this movie or anything, because I know that there are people who hate this movie, and I'm not so quick to say hate or even dislike. I enjoy the film for what it is. It's definitely, though, the weakest in the series. Oh, wait a minute. There is a fifth one. I'm joking, I know. It's just, it wasn't a part of this pack. I bought it separately, and I will review that movie next. But But guys, let me know in the comments below, what do you think of Live Free or Die Hard? Do you like it? Do you love it? Or do you hate it? Thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe. Later!